It's episode 6 of Sun Guy Star Trek Review. This week, Mudd's Women, one of the classic episodes of Star Trek. Well, basically, the Enterprise is chasing this ship that they can't identify. It gets caught in an asteroid storm, and so they extend their shields to protect the unidentified ship. It puts a strain on the Enterprise, and then they beam over the captain and what he claims is his cargo, three broads. Three broads and a guy come over. Turns out the guy was using an alias name. He said he was Leo Wash. He was not. He was Harcourt Fenton Mudd. Harry Mudd he was. The women, he said he was wiving to some, people on a planet. He was headed to this planet to deliver their subspace order brides, apparently. And Kirk has an investigation into things, says he's going to arrest him for illegal use of a starship, and then they start losing power. They're losing all the power because they blew their lithium crystals, saving Harcourt Fenton Mudd and his cargo. But then when they decide to go to Rigel 12, which is a mining planet, to get some more, Mudd contacts the miners somehow without anyone on the ship knowing it and arranges for them to get Mudd out of trouble. And they said, oh yeah, we'll marry the broads. We'll have a 1950s marriage because they wanted people to cook and clean and be a 50s housewife, apparently, in the 23rd century. It was weird. It was very weird. And then the women apparently were on some sort of drug to make them irresistible to men, or so they claimed. The miners didn't like that, then they did like it, then they didn't like it. There was a brawl. One of them ran out in tears when they found her. The guy, that was supposed to marry this one, wanted a 1950s marriage, and so she was like, sure, that's what I wanted. It was my biggest dream in life in the 23rd century, to be a 50s housewife. All cook and clean and mend your socks. And he's like, that's all I wanted. All he wanted out of life. And Kirk and Mudd go back to the planet. They give her a placebo. They say that the drug didn't really do anything, or it did do something. They had the same effect with the placebo or something. It was really confusing. Then Mudd and Kirk are basically buddy pals at the very end. Buddy pals, even though Mudd caused all kinds of trouble, was going to go to prison, apparently. It was odd. There was some interesting notes in this episode. It was the most we'd ever see out of Johnny Farrell, the navigator, who was there for a short time. Mr. Farrell, he was bumping into walls and stuff because he couldn't believe the women looked that good or something to that effect. It was strange. Mr. Spock showing the most annoyance he's ever shown in any episode, ever. He was completely annoyed the whole time. You could tell it in his voice and his mannerisms. He was annoyed. Dr. McCoy, also completely smitten by these women. They made his medical scanner do weird stuff that they never explained. They never explained what happened with its medical scanner. It was doing strange stuff. And he just kept telling Captain Kirk that it made his medical scanner go bloopity bloop. It was his professional medical opinion. His medical scanner went bloopity bloop. Kirk just took it at face value. Then they had the, I believe, first comical Spock, McCoy, Kirk closing of an episode, where McCoy took a stab at Spock being Vulcan, and then Spock explaining how he delighted that he's Vulcan instead of human. And Kirk just sits in the middle between them, and he laughs. They did that closing a lot. This, I believe, was the first instance of such. So pretty much episode 6 is done.